here to give you the review of The Dark Knight Rises. Not the review you deserve, but the one that you need. Okay, I'm not going to do that. But okay, yeah, this is the much anticipated Dark Knight Rises, and I'll just apologize now. I'm doing this before I do the bum review, so if I reuse some of these jokes, I apologize, or if you've already seen them and you see that, whatever. As always, best way to talk about a sequel or remake is to talk about what you thought the films before it. I'll just do the Christopher Nolan ones, which most of you know what I think of them, but I'll just say real fast. The Batman Begins, I really liked. I really enjoyed it. I liked the first half much more than the second half. Second half, I think, gets a little boring, but first half, I love the psychology. I love the philosophy. I didn't think I liked going to his past, but I did, and I love the development, so I like the first one. Second one, love even more. One of my favorite movies, even though, it has problems, obviously. The ending is kind of bullshit and stuff. I really like it. I love Heath Ledger. I love that it really seemed to bring comic book movies to, a new level, taking them seriously and being even darker and more adult, but still sort of being a comic book movie. So really, really like the second one. Like I love Dark Knight. And then we have The Dark Knight Rises. I didn't like this one. I thought this actually kind of sucked. And I have no idea if I'm a minority on that, or if that's going to be the popular view. I have no idea. I haven't looked up and seen what other people thought yet, but I got back from the midnight screening, and I was really underwhelmed by it. I was actually kind of shocked. There's two things that I really, really like in it. One is Catwoman. Catwoman's a great... Hathaway's fine. I think there could have been a better actress, possibly, but she does fine. She's having fun. She goes back and forth between being the damsel screaming and then, going to serious mode. It's like that was just for show. I mean, it's playing the different parts and the different characters, and she's having fun with it. She's more of a spy in this one. And I love the Michelle Pfeiffer one. Okay, that's a great character, an awesome character, but it's nice to see one more sort of like the comics. So, love Catwoman. Lots of fun. When you see her and Batman together, just walking down the street or kicking ass, it's awesome. I mean, and the stuff with the mask and the goggles sort of looking like the ears, so you can understand why some people would call her like the cat or the cat burglar and she steals stuff. It was smart. It was actually kind of clever, so love that stuff. Second thing that was awesome, Bane. Bane's pretty cool. I didn't think he would be, but they actually make him really enjoyable in just how much he's really soaking up and having fun just being this villain. Everything you try to throw at him, I mean, he's just like, oh, you tried to fight me in dark now. I was born in dark. Hello, I see you. Pow! And he's very intimidating as well, and his voice... Whatever, they give him some sort of filter or something so you can hear it better, and even though he should sound like this, he sounds like this, like his voice really projects somehow. But that's, whatever, comic book stuff. Aside from that, what really sort of shocked me about this movie is that I couldn't give a crap what was going to happen. The last, half hour or whatever of the climax, the city fighting, everyone's running in, the bat plane is flying, tanks, explosions. I was looking at my watch. I was so bored by this. And I think the reason for that is, one, they don't make the main character, they don't make Batman that interesting in this. They don't have him go through much of a dilemma. The other films did. This one, I mean, maybe he is, but they don't focus on it that much. At least not as much as they probably should. Not enough to get us, sort of like, wow, I feel what he's going through. We're going with him through this journey. So that's a problem. Two, biggest problem is the motivation for the villains. This is pretty much the first film again. The exact same plan, except it made even less sense. It makes even less sense in this one than it did in the first one. The first one was, Gotham is a decaying city. It's horrible. It's like a diseased arm that needs to be lopped off so the rest of civilization can, live. Okay. I guess I'll buy it. It sounds a little goofy, but whatever. We'll go with it, okay? And then in this one, it's like, Gotham is now a peaceful place because all that bullshit at the end of The Dark Knight, with we have to make Batman look like the villain and, whatever, and Michael Caine burning the letter and stuff like that. All of that just got rid of crime, the streets are safe. They're gonna get rid of Jim Gordon because this is peacetime. By the way, that goes nowhere. There's no reason for that. So now Gotham's, I guess, a really pretty nice place. People want a vacation there or something. But these bad guys, the exact same ones, the League of Shadows, come in and they still want to stomp it out. Why? Because, well, we got a plan. We still got the blueprints. We gotta just throw them away? I mean, we can't do that. It doesn't add up. And that's the big problem, is that you're following these villains, and you're trying to get into their plan. And when you get to the big battle at the end, everyone's rushing and fighting, you're constantly asking yourself, what the hell are they fighting for? What was this for again? I'm not behind this. Even something like Avengers, is very basic. Asshole wants to take over the world. I mean, we know that. We've seen it a million times, so we can get it. We're still not sure exactly what this is. And there's a bomb that they have that they could just blow up at any moment. In fact, we find out that they are just going to blow it up. They're holding the city hostage unless they don't heed to their demands, because there's no demands they have to heed to. So they... but what's the point? Well, they want to see the soul of Gotham be crushed. Why? To prove a point. The point that if we let a bunch of prisoners out of their cells, the city will be in chaos. I don't think you need to prove that. I think we could figure that out. And if no law enforcement is there to save them, the city will crumble and die. Yeah? Yeah? But we're gonna blow it up anyway. What? This is the dumbest plan. It doesn't add up, and we don't exactly know why they're doing it. It's just sort of stubbornness. That's one of the many major problems. I should probably go a little bit into the story here. It's a few years later after Dark Knight. Bruce Wayne is now like a cripple. Which, did I miss something in the last one? Like, he has a cane and he can, just barely walk. When did that happen? I thought Batman was walking okay at the end of the first film. He could ride the bike, but he decides to, seclude himself and get away from everything because the death of Harvey Dent was too much. The death of his parents as a kid, that was tough. But this guy who was nice, but he turned out to be a jerk. Lock himself away from everything. He's like Howard Hughes. He's got the long beard. And he's, I'm done. So that didn't make a whole lot of sense. But he decides to come back because Selena Kyle, takes his fingerprints. She's a cat burglar in this. Sort of playing both sides, having a lot of fun with it. And so he wants to find out why. And then he finds out about this Bane character. And Bane is apparently connected to the League of Shadows. I don't think I'm giving anything away. They say that pretty early on. And they just flat out say, what's his plan? He wants to keep doing what Ra's al Ghul started. Now, here's the other major problem. Because that's essentially the story, and that's what, Bane wants to do. He just wants to finish what Ra's al Ghul started. And Catwoman, the sword goes back and forth. As she should. That's what's so great about that character. The reason that doesn't work is that then what is the purpose of the second movie? What is the purpose of the Joker? What's even the purpose of Two-Face? You could easily write these two things out and just have what's the purpose of framing Batman for the crime? Write that stuff out. Okay, go from Batman Begins, take out the Joker, all that stuff. I'm Batman, I'm in the city, I'm gonna make it great. Go to this movie. Everything's great because of Batman. Well, the Bane doesn't want that. He wants revenge for Ra's al Ghul. And continue the rest of the story. You don't need the second film. It's totally pointless. The Joker's totally pointless. Two-Face is pretty much pointless. And all those decisions they decide to do at the end, with, that I thought were kind of bullshit anyway, with Michael Caine burning the letter and Batman taking the blame and Gordon going along with it and stuff, really bites him in the ass. And everybody's saying, why the hell did you do this? This was stupid. And they're totally right. I mean, it's like, it just shot itself in the foot with its own logic. Because everything they did in that film is ultimately coming back, and everybody's yelling at them saying this was the wrong thing to do. And they're right, it was the wrong thing to do. It was a dumb idea. So you have that going, but trying to bring it back to the villains in the first film, it doesn't add up, because then they're trying to make it look like this was all part of the plan, this was all part of the trilogy, when clearly it wasn't. Maybe you were going to do something with Heath Ledger that was going to bring it back into this, I don't know. But as is, you have Batman Begins, which is its own sort of thing. The Dark Knight, which is kind of continuing it, but it's its own little thing. Dark Knight Returns. Just listen to the friggin' title. You're recycling the title. Batman Begins to Dark Knight Returns. There's not much variation there. Did you learn anything from watching the Rambo movies? Anyway. You have Dark Knight Rises. And we're just going to sort of go back to what the first film was doing. We're going to bring it back to that. This whole area with the Joker and Two-Face, where you were really raising the bar, remember, and you were trying something different and new and wow. And why are you stepping backwards? Why are you going in this direction? And what really bothers me is that from Batman Begins to Dark Knight, whether or not he did, you got the feeling that Christopher Nolan was sort of taking notes at what didn't work in Batman Begins. Like, the action scenes got so much better in Dark Knight. The villain got much more focus in The Dark Knight. A lot of the problems, even though I like Batman Begins, a lot of the problems with Batman Begins were fixed in Dark Knight, with the exception of a few. And then you get to Dark Knight Rises, and it's like, he didn't... Maybe because everyone did praise it so much, but there were still problems with The Dark Knight. And one of them is that goddamn voice. And I swear to God, he's doing it on purpose now. He's making it sillier. This is the... And I don't blame Bale for this. I really don't, because Christopher Nolan is watching this. And even if he doesn't see it on set, because I understand that. The ear and audio, I understand that. In editing, do something to that voice. Dub it. Give it more bass. Do something. You fixed Bane's voice. That sounded great. It didn't make a whole lot of sense. That's unrealistic, but it sounded great. Why couldn't you do it with Christian Bale? Everyone's made fun of this voice. It's the funniest goddamn thing in this movie. He's sounding like he swallowed Donald Duck or something. It's like, you can't do it. You can't do it. It's too silly. Okay, I'm sorry. And he talks so much in this. And even half the people know who he is, and he's still doing this dumb-ass voice. Alright, so that was really distracting. In Prometheus, that's weird me going to Prometheus, but have you ever seen the Red Letter Media video that they did for that, where it's two guys, they're just sitting down, they're just on a couch, one guy turns, and he just asks every question, about a plot point or a hole that didn't make sense in Prometheus, and it goes on for like 3 minutes, because there's so many. That's this one. And let me tell you, and I'm open, it's a comic book movie, I got that. I'm the guy who didn't really question in The Dark Knight when, how did the clowns during the big chase scene know where the helicopters were going to go to set up those cords or know there's going to be a helicopter and stuff. It's like, I don't question that stuff. Edward Scissorhands, I don't question where he gets the big block of ice. I'm cool with it. But there are so many damn things in this movie where I'm like, what? Huh? What? For example, when they capture Catwoman, they put her in the male prison center. What? And I'm sure they give a bullshit reason, but everyone's saying the same thing. That's a bullshit reason. They put Bruce Wayne in this prison for a bit, and he has to find out a way out, which, by the way he finds the way out is extremely underwhelming, and it's supposed to be like the big build-up of the movie. The title of the movie comes from this, and it's like one sentence, and it's not that big a development, or at least you don't see him go through a big development. He just tries something, that worked. But, okay, so he gets out of this prison. There's no fucking guards there? There's no guards to make sure this guy, who you friggin' know is Batman, is gonna get out? It's like, well, no one's ever gotten out of here except for that one person that we constantly reference all the time, but with the exception of that one person who was very small, a child, actually, but we're pretty sure no one else is ever gonna get out. Ever. No one will ever figure out the psychological secret or whatever, or they claim it's a psychological secret. He gets out. Apparently this is in, India or something like that. Makes his way back to Gotham, just on the street, you don't know how. And you got... Nobody can get on this goddamn island now, because they closed off all the bridges, there's army and military. He gets on in like 2 seconds. He flies from India, gets back to this island that has military all over the place and terrorists all over the place, and he gets back fine.